All right, good morning, folks. We are here on the eastern edge of the Kaibab National Forest, up at about 9,000 feet, overlooking a giant mesa. Here, let me give you a little tour of the place. So we're on this cliffside here that's just gorgeous. That's the huge mesa that's hard to see with the sun in our eyes. In the middle of that big mesa is the Colorado River, which we're gonna go check out later today. A bunch of this forest has been burned, but not all of it. It's kind of patchy. So yeah, we're gonna try and make it over to the Colorado River today. I'm gonna take a trail up and over the mountain pass here. I've never taken the trail before, and this will be by far the most adventurous thing I've done in the transit. So I'm actually quite excited about that. I'm still learning about the transit and what it can do. For that matter, I'm learning what I can do. So, you know. So this was my camp last night. It's absolutely delightful. Some of the trees are burned, some are not, or some are partially. But then maybe, I don't know, 50 yards from my camp. This is pretty horrendous, but it's kind of beautiful. I feel like it's going to be a while until this recovers. And then there's this incredible sculpture. Yeah, I kind of wanted to show you that. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's just pretty interesting. All right, well, it's time to pack up and get after it. Okay, wow. Well, this has been an epic day so far. There, I think right up over there somewhere is where we started this morning. Kind of but past there because we can't really see it. This sort of saddle thing here, after we dropped down through the switchbacks, I think we kind of worked our way through that. And then over here, of course, is the mesa, the big plain that we're headed to. God, it's still far away. Oh man, well, the place we're going to is right out here. So we still have another 1,000 feet or so to drop. I've had this there's like a little pebble that's been stuck in my brake shield, and it makes this scratchy, annoying sound. So I thought, well, maybe I'll pull over, take a little break, and do that. And then it occurred to me, like, well, maybe I just go ahead and pull the whole front wheel off and give you a bit of a tour of what I'm working with here in terms of wheels, tires, and suspension. So let me go get my gear, and let's do that. Before we start, actually, I realized I should talk about a couple things. In particular, you know, if you're going to be out back here, it's a good idea to have some basic skills, some basic ability to kind of take care of things that can go wrong, like changing your tire, stuff like that. Some basic preparedness goes a long way. And so I'm going to show you how I jack up this van. If you lift a van, your whatever jack came with your van isn't going to work. You're going to need to lift up the jack for it to work because your van is now higher. In the case of the Transit, this is the jack that came with the van. I needed to pull my front wheel off earlier in this trip and ended up, you know, putting this on top of a reasonably flat rock. And with this thing on top of a rickety rock, I felt like this is no good. So when I was at Overland Expo, I went around and I talked to a bunch of different people trying to figure out what the best solution is for jacking up a van, because this has actually been an issue for especially the Sprinters, because the Sprinters you can get even higher and the Sprinters start out higher. The guys at Agile, as it turns out, sometime in the last year, came out with jack. I had no idea. Okay, and this is the jack they designed. So this jack is a lot. It's a pretty beefy thing. But when you think about it, you're going to be jacking up a vehicle that weighs, you know, 8,000, 9,000, maybe 10,000 pounds. I think this was based off of basically a military design. So it's basically a big scissor jack. It's pretty simple in that regard, except at the top here, they have a planetary gear. So this is a gear down reduction. I think it's 30, 35 to 1, something like that. You could, in theory, put a crank handle on here, but the reality is that's just going to kind of take you a long time and it's going to be annoying. So it's really designed to go with a drill. And I always usually carry around a tool bag anyway with me, so carrying a drill isn't really a big deal. Like I said, I like to have sort of the basic set of tools so I can properly fix something on the road. But yeah, I'll just show you how this works. So basically, turn that and it opens up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this under the van and then I'll jack this up and I'll show you too. It is a real pleasure to see how quickly this thing jacks up. All right, so one of the things about this van for this year is I wanted to try a bunch of things that I'd never used before. So this is a Nokian Outpost tire. You know, I'm super used to the KO2s and of course now they're KO3s, but and other tires. Those tires tend to be a little more, I think, a little softer compound and a little more of a, like, they're not a mud tire, but like more in that direction, more a little more aggressive, I guess. And I'm not saying that this tire isn't aggressive, it's just different. You know, I know from my years of mountain biking and then some motorcycling as well. This dirt out here, really, what you really want is a tighter tread, a firmer block, and you'll hook up much better in this dirt than you will if you have a softer, kind of knobbier compound. Those will tend to drift a little bit, both on the pavement, but also on this hard pack. So anyway, this was a bit of an experiment. So far, I really like it. It is incredibly quiet on the road. I drove 3,000 miles to get out here. So that was nice. In fact, I didn't even think about that until I got here, and I was like, oh yeah, these are really quiet. So that's really nice. They seem to be holding up really well. I've noticed a couple nicks in them from today and a couple other days as well. Nothing severe. Some of the rocks out here are incredibly sharp, like so sharp that you want to wear gloves when you touch them. So for a tire that is going to do well on dirt roads and be quiet on the pavement, this seems excellent as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I don't know, that's been good. This is a new wheel. In fact, I'm not even sure if this is on the market yet. This is from Reika. There basically no one that makes a good wheel for the Transit until Reika came along. The options that are out there are pretty terrible, and the reason for that is just because the way the offset is on the Transit, and the offset just has to do with the relationship between kind of the bolt holes and where the tire sits. And a lot of Transits have this, like the front hub kind of sticks out in the way like a semi-front hub sticks out. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like aesthetically, I just don't like it. And I don't think I'm the only one who doesn't like it. Anyways, but then we got in touch with Reika, and they had these that they were in the process of making. So we got some pre-production rims, and it was fun kind of working with them on that. And yeah, we mounted up. I'm running a spacer on here. It's either 3/16 or a quarter. Reika does not recommend that. I'm sort of trying it out. But this is just a beautiful looking wheel. I can't imagine a better looking wheel. So yeah, I don't know. Pretty thrilled with this setup. And then I've been very thrilled with the Van Compass setup here. So I'm going to use this as my pointer here. The Van Compass, well, number one, for the Transit, there just aren't that many options for suspension. You can do Q-Lift from Quigley, which is essentially a body lift similar to the Transit Trail. There's only a few places in the country that will do the Q-Lift install. Agile, that I just mentioned earlier, is one of them on the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, you have to get it done at Quigley. So it becomes quite restrictive, and they have long lead times. So barring that, Van Compass is really the only company that makes a kit for the Transit. And so because we're probably going to be making a lot of Transits in the next couple of years, I really wanted to get out here and beat the heck out of this. And just make sure that we wanted to recommend it. And so far, I do. So, we'll see. I'm only 4,000 or so miles into this. But so up top, we have the Falcon strut and coilover. On the top of that, there is a spacer. So that spacer is gonna push the arm, the CV joint, the axle down, and that's going to create some of your lift. And then also, I believe the shock is also a bit longer as well. So anyway, that's going to create your lift right there. The additional coil there is also going to compensate for the weight of the van. So it's a huge improvement there, of course. And then I don't know if I can point to it, but the lower control arm, which is the part that goes under and connects under there, they sell a replacement lower control arm. So the factory lower control arm will work fine, except for the fact that it doesn't have any camber adjustment. So you can't adjust your wheels this way when you're doing an alignment. So after a lift, you're not going to be able to really get it aligned. You're going to be driving in the corners of your tires. It's a lot of labor to install this, partly because of the stupid way that Ford designed access to the top, or didn't design access to the top of the strut mount. It just sucks. It just sucks. My recommendation is, honestly, if you're going to bother to do any of it, I kind of feel like you should just do it all. But that starts to be a lot of money, right? So, or it just is a lot of money. On my drive out, I was thrilled how this performed on the road. I made a small post from the Ozarks, which is just like one twisty turn after another. And the van with this configuration just stayed upright and was really compliant. And I've been very, very happy out here as well. I think it's doing an excellent job. today I've been all over all kinds of things, and it seems to be doing a good job. So yeah, anyway, in the rear, we have an additional spring pack that's added on to the factory spring pack to help lift up the van some more. And then we also have another Falcon shock back there. So we are sort of burning daylight. So I think we got about another 1,000 feet down to the mesa. Yeah, I'll put all this back together and let's get back to it. Oh man, I just pulled over and spent about 20 minutes here soaking in the sunset, and man, I forgot how good sunsets are in the desert. I think only topped by sunrises. I love sunrises in the desert more than just about anything. So now I'm gonna drive the rest of the way, just down over there. I don't know, it's probably 45 minutes or so, drive in under darkness. And I am exhausted. So I am so excited to curl up in my bed and wake up at the first crack of dawn and see what it's like down there.